Fantastic. So Edward Plant here from Leader Better Business, and I've got Warren and Naomi Galliano with us here today. So do you guys want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, Warren Galliano, commercial plastering, retail fit-outs is our specialty. So basically we go into a shopping centre and make all of the beautiful looking shops look amazing.
Fantastic. Now, we've been working together for a little while. If we go back to when you started working with us, what did you want to achieve and why did we have that first conversation?
First conversation that we had was referred to by a friend of ours who said we need to talk as I was running ragged, had no time. My time management was basically in chaos. Was working 85 hours a week plus and trying to do the job of 4 other people. So almost on the verge of a nervous breakdown. My body was breaking down and wasn't coping very well with the growth of our business.
Yeah, for sure. What about for you, Naomi?
Yeah, I was really concerned about Warren and how hard he was working, how much he was doing. He was never home. When he was home, he was working. As soon as he finished working, he'd eat and fall asleep on the couch. Yeah. It was even sometimes on our weekends he was still working or he was just too exhausted to do anything anyway. So I had the 2 young kids and I was basically doing everything completely myself for them without any help or support because he was too busy working and trying to build the business because I'd told him a few months earlier that, or probably a year earlier, that we needed consistent work so we'd have to grow.
Yeah, for sure. And so Warren, how many hours a week were you working?
85 plus a week at that stage.
So pretty exhausting for everyone. So what would have been the impact if nothing had changed?
Well, this job had already had a physical toll on my body already. It was just about to take a mental toll and an emotional toll on me because I just couldn't keep up with the demands. We'd taken on a lot more work, which means that at that stage I was still on the tools but struggling. I was also having to quote, also having to do logistics, quantity surveillance, OH&S and everything else because at that time we didn't have any basic administrational help. Okay. So it was pretty much a breaking point.
Yeah. And what about for you, Naomi?
Yeah, look, I was worried Warren would have a breakdown because he was just overworked, that he just stopped functioning and that he wouldn't be able to work due to his back issues. Yeah, so my concern was yeah.
It could have all come crashing down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so over our work together, what are three parts of the work that you've done with us that have made the biggest impact for you? What did you learn?
For me, employing people that can share the load.
Yeah.
Delegating specific tasks to them. Putting on a site supervisor was our first initial port of call, simply for the fact I couldn't be on site and as well try and quote on the amount of work that was coming in. We're receiving between about 11 to 15 tenders a day. It still is at that volume, but we grew in size. We got the right people on board. So it took a while for us to weed through the guys that we had and the guys that we wanted to keep and the guys that were really dead wood and just getting a wage. They weren't invested in what we wanted to do and where we were aiming to go. And get a real focus on where we wanted to be. So that was probably the three main things that we did, or I did.
Fantastic. So they were employing the right people, getting the team on board, improving the culture, and freeing up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything else, Naomi?
Yeah, I think, when we first started with you guys, one of the first Leaders Labs that we did talked about our why, which was really good for us to come back to basics as to why we were doing this and get everything into perspective.
Yeah.
Helping Warren to make that step to delegation was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it was hard to let go.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Mm.
Yeah, I have a high standard, and to educate people about what we wanted was probably the hardest, because there's a lot of tradesmen, and yet the tradesmen that a lot of the time are looking for work are the ones that are actually pretty much unemployable, because all of the good tradesmen are already taken, and the guys that actually have them hold on to them with dear life. So finding sifting through guys was probably the hardest thing for me, because it's very hard to let go, making sure that you know that the job's going to be done right.
Yeah. For sure.
And you've already mentioned culture, but getting that clear in our minds as to what kind of culture we wanted for our business, what our essence is, and all of that. And then everything, I think, has flowed on from those three things.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's shift gears. And what have the results of those actions been on your business and on your life? What are the results been?
Oh, less stress. I mean, obviously, I'm coping a lot better with the workload that we have. I've been able to delegate a lot of work to our administrations manager. Putting her on was a godsend for us.
Yeah.
Trying to delegate is probably the hardest part, is finding out what people's strengths are and what their weaknesses are, and giving the job that actually they fire on, because not everyone's good at everything. So getting our administration manager to do the things that she was already doing well, but also taking on new things as well that we could train her in, to get into estimation and quantity surveillance as well, is fantastic. Plus, with the import of Naomi getting SharePoint on board, it's streamlined a lot of our systems. So it's made it a lot easier for us to check anyone's work at any given time, and to find out what the progress on a project is, find out what quantities of materials have been sent out, and also what the end goal is. Has been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not a fan of SharePoint, but it's a lot better now after Naomi and Fiona have gone right through and liaised with the company, the SharePoint company, to get it running how we wanted it to as well. Yeah. So that was a big thing.
And so at the start you talked about time, and we're working 80 hours. What's that down to?
On average now, about 40 to 45.
Yeah. And you've gone through periods of playing a bit of golf in there as well?
Yeah, well, yeah. I also have it's a bit of a privilege for me, is if I've had enough of work for the week, I can get in 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I still do a lot of networking with our suppliers, so they like to take us out to golf as well. So previous, I couldn't say yes to it, whereas now I have the opportunity to do it, which is good.
Yeah, fantastic. And so a lot of people listening to this will probably go, I imagine if you stopped working by half, like you did half as less work, your business would suffer and you wouldn't be able to grow. What's happened for you guys?
So over the last financial year, we had an increased turnover of 15%. the previous 3 financial years, we had an increase of 30% over each financial year. So it certainly hasn't stopped the growth. If anything, with the changes that we've made, the extra staff that we have both in the office and on site, it actually has helped us to expand the business, take on more work, while Warren has been able to cut back. At the same time, over those years, as the kids have gotten older, I've been able to become more involved in the business and you know, work part-time hours on that and make a good contribution to it. So Warren's working less, I'm working a bit more, but we're both happy with that. And we've got great staff helping things tick along, and we're still growing.
Yeah, fantastic.
And our margins are higher now than what they were before, which is probably the best circumstance with, as we're talking to a new client yesterday, we've had 0 defects in any of the products that we've had since September last year, since we've employed a new supervisor who's taken the lead and really put himself forward to engage with our clients to make sure that they get the product that they deserve.
Yeah, fantastic. And Naomi, you talked at the beginning about Warren, you doing the kids and everything on your own. How's that changed?
Look, when sometimes Warren still has to go out on site in the mornings, or he's got to come straight down into the office, but often he's able to help get us out the door on time, which is really good, by putting the kids' shoes on and doing their hair and things like that. So it's that, you know, can make all the difference to us being late or being on time. Takes that pressure off me, which is really good. And then, you know, he's doesn't have to do any work on the weekends. Neither of us do, which is good. Yeah. And he also has energy on the weekends. We're able to do more together and get out and about, which is good as well.
Fantastic. And so was there anything coming up that nearly stopped you working with Lead a Better Business that would stop you of joining us, or was there anything that came up that you weren't sure about?
When we first came out?
Yeah.
No, not for me. I mean, your approach seemed to suit our dynamic in terms of the fact that we are a husband and wife business. That's what you and Beck kind of work best with. It is great to have, as I've mentioned, to have Beck at the workshops. She was missed when she was off with
having babies.
Yeah, I think
we're stopping that for a little while, so we're good. Bring
different energies to it and different ideas and everything, which is really good. But yeah, no, for me, it was fine. It definitely seemed to suit what we wanted.
Sweet.
Yeah. For me, it was clear and concise when we met. We were able to understand what you were talking about, and also the fact that you could give us solutions to the problem.
Yeah.
Practical solutions.
And what's been your favourite part of working with Beck and I?
The workshops are really good.
Yeah, the workshops are always a highlight.
Even better since we've been able to engage with your visiting speakers.
Yeah.
That's been a positive. Both that we've come into contact. It's nice to see that people struggle no matter how big or how small they are in business. And the reality is that there is no perfect business, and you always have to move and shuffle to make things work.
Yeah.
So that's been a highlight for me.
Thanks. And who would you recommend working with Lead a Better Business to?
Probably people, you know, in similar circumstances to us. I think husband and wife teams seems to be where your strength is. And I suppose at the moment it seems to be where the majority of your clientele kind of sit. But even with business partners, I suppose you could work quite well with, because you could be able to bring in different perspective. And I think Warren just said something before about you offering solutions, but more often than not, it's your ability to help us find the solutions to our own problems by asking the right questions, and guiding us through that process, which I find really helpful. So, yeah, I mean, anyone really who needs, who's kind of overworked and struggling, who needs a different perspective in their business, I'd recommend you guys for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We're probably in our business in a different dynamic where we don't actively search out clientele. They tend to come to us. We don't advertise, where I know that a lot of your other clients do marketing to increase business. And I think we're a little bit unique in the way that you've helped us, but I can see the way that with a lot of your marketing strategies, it'd be quite helpful to basically anyone.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks for that, ladies and gentlemen, Warren and Naomi, and thanks for sharing that with us.
No worries.
You're welcome.